Will Ed Miliband's energy plans actually make your bills cheaper? Or is this all just long term visionary politics? With the quiet period of Christmas and New Year behind us, you may have seen a whole load of announcements recently from the government about record wind auctions, government energy plans, and new grid projects. But here's the question: what matters to your wallet? Will your energy bills actually come down? In this video, I'm going to explain what's actually happening and what still needs to change before you start to see real savings. The UK has just completed a record-breaking offshore wind auction, and in fact, one of the biggest ever in Europe. New contracts for difference were agreed with wind generators, locking in price support for renewable energy projects. CFDs, or contracts for difference, are guaranteed prices that the government guarantees to the people who will build these new wind farms that reduce their risk but also encourage investment. Now, these signal real investment is happening into the UK energy industry. Wind farms that will generate clean electricity for millions of homes are being built. But CFDs do have a bit of a downside. They protect investors whilst encouraging them to build new infrastructure, but they can also lead to higher prices for us. Now, the way CFDs work is the government agrees a price per megawatt hour for that particular generator. And if the price goes below that, the government will top it up. So if they set a price of £80 per megawatt hour and the price is £70 per megawatt hour, then the government is on the hook. And when I say the government, I mean you and I are on the hook for the other £10. But if the price goes above that, that price is then capped. So any extra that is made flows back into what is known as the Low Carbon Contracts Company. This is a government-owned entity, and that money is then held in reserve. It is used to pay out if the CFDs drop below so that it doesn't immediately hit yours and my bills. But it is also supposed to bring our bills down. But it doesn't seem to work that way. Now, the whole idea behind this is this long-term plan to build out more and more wind in the North Sea and the Irish Sea means more wind means more cheap to produce energy in the long run. But wholesale energy prices, the price that the companies that we all deal with, the Octopuses, the Eons, the EDFs of the world, the price that they pay is still linked to the gas price. So if Mr. Putin goes and does what he likes to do and invade other countries, because Russia is such a big gas supplier, people panic, the markets react, and the price of gas goes up. And because of that, the price of our electricity goes up, even though electricity generated by a wind turbine in the North Sea has nothing whatsoever to do with the price of gas. For simplicity purposes, the market is constructed in a way that the wholesale price is set by the most expensive generation source, and it treats electricity generation and gas generation exactly the same. So therefore, as gas gets more and more expensive, so does our electricity. Now, the government have been saying this needs to be broken for a long time, but they're doing absolutely nothing to actually push this forward. There is nothing being said in Parliament about this. There is nothing being said in all the select committees. There is nothing being said by Ofgem about breaking this link, and it needs to happen. Otherwise, all of these new wind farms that are being built in the North Sea are going to be very expensive electricity. Now, all of this is irrelevant to the average consumer because what we look at is how much am I paying for my bills this month? Building new wind farms is great and we need to do that, but the capacity for those wind farms probably isn't going to come online until the early 2030s, maybe 2035. And people are struggling right now with their energy bills. So none of this investment that is happening, none of the new capacity or new transmission lines that are being built, none of that is having an impact on our bills today. Now, you may have also seen that Ofgem announced a big push for new interconnects. These are high-speed transmission lines to move renewable power from Scotland to England. Now, Scotland has some of the best wind resources in Europe. In fact, some of the best wind resources anywhere in the world. And they have a relatively small population in Scotland, therefore they generate way more energy than they can actually use. But the interconnects between Scotland and England, where the energy is actually needed, are pretty poor and have been poorly invested in over the last few decades. So right now there is a plan to build 4 new 2 gigawatt plus interconnects between Scotland and England. This will allow a lot of that renewable energy to flow south to where it's needed. But again, this investment, it's great, we desperately need it, but these interconnects aren't going to come online till the mid-2030s. So therefore, they're not going to do anything to reduce our energy bills right now. What they will do is reduce bottlenecks in the system, they will allow us to move energy to where it is needed, but in the mid-2030s. Now, once this comes online, this will help because getting renewable power flowing efficiently to where it's needed solves the problem that we hear people like Greg Jackson talking about all the time, of where we're having to pay generators to shut down because we don't have the capacity where we need it. These new high-speed interconnects will allow us to move the energy when we need it to exactly where the consumers are consuming it. So yes, investment is happening into the grid. I know we see all of the headlines in the right-wing press that says the grid is creaking, all of those damned EVs, when they all plug in, they're going to cause blackouts. There is investment going on all across the grid in both generation and transmission. There is more wind, new contracts, grid upgrades. It is all happening. It's just not going to affect our bills in the short term. So how do we solve this? How do we get our bills down? Well, it goes back to what I was talking about a moment ago. It's about breaking that link between the wholesale price of gas and electricity. Allow electricity generation to set its own price. Now, we've got one price in the market. It's not too much of a stretch to say we could have 2 prices in the market. We could have a gas price and we could have an electricity price. And that would allow the gas price to be volatile, but the electricity price to stay stable. Then this might encourage people to do exactly what the government is asking and move to a more electricity-centric lifestyle. The more we do that, the less dependent we are on gas. Then it doesn't matter what Mr. Putin does anywhere else in the world, because we will be less and less dependent on the price of gas. So even with more renewables coming online, we're still going to feel the high prices because the system that links to the gas price is broken. So here's the reality of the situation. These wind auctions and these infrastructure upgrades are great news for the future. But if Labour, and specifically Ed Miliband, really want to bring down prices now, they have to break the link between gas and electricity prices. We should be benefiting from cheaper renewables. We don't have to wait till 2030 to get some renewable energy from the North Sea or the Irish Sea or off the north coast of Scotland. We have a massive capacity of it today. It is just very expensive because of that link to the gas price. Until that linkage is cut, consumers won't see the full benefit of the huge amounts of investment that we're doing into our grid right now. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you think there is another way that the government could act in the short term to bring down the price of our energy? It seems that the link to the gas price is one key part of it, but I'm sure there are other things they could be doing right now which would bring down the cost of energy. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you back here in the very near future for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.